Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Poojary and in the series of Law of Torts. In my last class, we have already had an introduction for Law of Torts, and with this video, I want to cover three important aspects, that is origin, meaning and definitions of Law of Torts. Now, when it comes to the origin, I will explain the background completely. I will also give the meaning, and then I will explain 7 important definitions related to torts. And finally, I have a bonus slide where I am summarizing everything with the help of the chart. That's my way. So I'm not taking much of your time. Let's get into the first slide. The first part that we are going to deal are the origin and meaning of tort. Now this slide we have already seen in my last video. We understood from my last video that the term tort has the origin from Old French and it had the same meaning of English, which meant wrong. Or Romanian law had a term called delict, which means a violation of the law. Now this is where we got the term tort, or the Old French was the origin for the term tort. But it was not the word tort actually. We had something with that similar meaning. Where did we get the term tort basically? We got it from Old Latin, which had a term torture, which means twisted or crooked. Like for example, I have given a small image there. You are expected to do something, okay, which is legally right. But instead of doing so, you are choosing another way which is not right, okay. You are twisting it or you are showing your crooked mind. That is known as torture. But then comes medieval Latin. We got the term tortum, and the term tortum meant wrong, injury or injustice. Now finally we have this meaning. If somebody commits any kind of civil wrong, that is tort, or tort is today understood as civil wrong. And when is tort committed? If you are infringing the legal rights of others and causing injury, now that is considered as civil wrong, and that is also considered as you have committed tort. Now that is the origin and meaning. Now let's get into few of the very important definitions related to tort. Let's start the discussion with Salmond, who says it is a civil wrong for which the remedy is a common law action for unliquidated damages and which is not exclusively the breach of contract or the breach of trust or other merely equitable obligation. Now Salmond has covered most important parts in a beautiful definition. First he says tort is a civil wrong. Then he says for torts there are remedy available, and these remedies are unliquidated damages. That means the damages or the compensation, okay, they are not being defined. They will be changing from case to case basis. And finally he also says what are not tort: a breach of contract or a breach of trust or other merely equitable obligation. These are not torts. Now that is a beautiful definition which gives complete concept clarity as to what are tort. They are civil wrong. For them there are remedy available. These remedies are not liquidated. That means not really defined in the law. They are unliquidated damages or unliquidated compensation which will be changing from case to case. And then he also covered breach of contract or breach of trust or other mere equitable obligations are not tort. This is from Salmond. The second definition is from Winfield, who says tortious liability arises from the breach of a duty primarily fixed by law. This duty is towards persons generally, and its breach is redressable by an action or unliquidated damages. Now you can see most of the terms that are being explained by Salmond or being covered by Salmond are also available in Winfield's definition, and you can also see few new aspects also. Now, what is tort liabilities as for Winfield? Tort liabilities are breach of duty which is covered by law. That means tort obligations or the liabilities are covered by one or the other law. Okay, Salmond says common law. He mentions common law there. Here also we can see that tort liabilities are covered by one or the other law. He also says duty is generally towards persons got injury. Now, towards whom the duties are? It is towards the persons who got injury. And those injuries or the breach are redressable. That means if you commit a wrong, there will be some kind of compensation. They will be addressed because they are being covered by law. That is what his first line itself says. And how are they covered? By an action or unliquidated damages. So he beautifully covers that there will be some action for the wrongs that have been committed, or there will be a very clear damages paid, but they are not defined. There will be compensation, but they are unliquidated damages. As Salmond says, he also says that they are not been defined like as to how much damages to be paid or how much compensation to be paid, but there will be compensation. That is what Winfield says. The third definition is from Underhill, who defines a tort as an act or omission which, independent of contract, is unauthorized by law and results either in the infringement of some absolute right to which another is entitled, or in the infliction upon him of some substantial loss of money, health, or material comfort beyond that suffered by the rest of the public, and which infringement or infliction of loss is remediable by an action for damages. The beauty of Underhill's definition is he covers almost all the aspects from Salmond as well as Winfield, and he also adds those elements which clarifies as to what is tort. The first thing, see the beauty of his definition. He starts from tort is an act or omission. Where did we learn this concept? We have learned this in IPC also. I have an independent video on an act or omission. You can go through that and understand what is an act or omission. Now, what is an act or omission? To give a brief sense, always remember this. If a particular law says that you should not do this, and if you are doing that, in that case, that is an act which is an offense. Likewise, if a particular law says that you should do something and if you are not doing the same, in that case it becomes an omission which is also an offense. Okay, I'm not getting into too much of details on act or omission because we'll have independent videos on these concepts also, but an act or omission which is unauthorized by law, okay, he is also saying that these act or omission are covered in one or the other law. Now, if you are not supposed to do something and if you are doing, or if you are supposed to do something and if you are not doing, they are an act and omission. And if you are not doing as per the legal requirement, in that case that becomes a tort, which is what he says. And by doing so, what are you doing? You are infringing the absolute right of another. Okay, these are not just an act or omission which is not doing anything with others. They are infringing the absolute right of another. In that case, that becomes a tort. Or by doing such act or omission, you are causing substantial loss of money, health, or material comfort. Okay, and if they are beyond the rest of the public, okay, if it is common, which is happening regularly, which are not that important, which are negligible, in that case it will not considered as tort. But if it is causing trouble to someone beyond the other public, or if it is causing huge problem to all the public, in that case that will be considered as tort. And for these things, a remedy by action for such damages is available. In that case, that will be considered as tort as per Underhill. Now he also covers, but the beauty of his definition is he covers an act or omission, and he is also saying that they are covered by law. He covers two important parts. These unauthorized actions will either infringe the absolute right of another or causing substantial loss of money, health or material comfort. And he also says that remedy is available for all these unauthorized actions, and he also says that it is not common. Those infringement of absolute right or loss of money, health, material comfort, whatsoever is there, it is comparatively more with other publics. In that case, that person will get tortious liability against whomever he has committed such tort. That is what Underhill says. The next definition is from Limitation Act 1963. Section 2 clause M defines tort means a civil wrong which is not exclusively the breach of a contract or the breach of a trust. I don't think I need to explain anything on this. This is very simple. Tort means civil wrong. As Salmond very clearly said, they have some exclusions. He mentioned 3 exclusions, but Limitation Act covers 2 exclusions. They are breach of contract or breach of trust are not considered as tort. This is what we need to understand from Limitation Act 1963, Section 2, Clause M. So with that, I have already explained 4 definitions, and here there are 3 other definitions which can be bonus definitions if somebody is looking for more definitions. I have given the definition from Pollack. I have also given the definition from Ratan Lal and the definition from Fraser. Now these 3 definitions along with the other 4 definitions from Salmond, Winfield, Underhill and Limitation Act 1963 Section 2 Clause M I have given in the single slide. You can take the screenshot and read them together. Now I am getting into summary slide where I will explain you guys what is the meaning of tort as per these definitions, and I am doing that with the help of a chart. So in a nutshell, considering all the definitions, we understood that tort is a civil wrong. So here we need to understand that we are going to understand all those civil wrongs under tort. But are we not covering criminal wrongs? That's a very interesting question that we will see as and when we are studying those subjects. But for now, understand that tort is a civil wrong and they are defined in one or the other law. Now you need to remember that tort is not an independent codified law. It is not so, okay? Tort is defined in one or the other law and we are taking them as and when required. They are not an independent codified law. That is what you need to always remember. And these tort are causing infringement of other person's right, or they are causing substantial loss of money, health or material comfort, etc. Now when you are infringing of other person's right, or when you are causing substantial loss of money, health or material comfort, you may be committing a tort. And for these tort, okay, there are undefined or unliquidated damages. That means you are going to get compensation for the injury that you have experienced. That is what we need to understand from all these definitions as to what are tort. Now in the definition, we also saw there are exceptions. Now what are the exceptions? If there are breach of contract, or there are breach of trust, or if there are breach of equitable obligations, they are not torts. That is what you need to understand, because tort is right in rem, but breach of contract, breach of trust or breach of equitable obligations are dealing with right in personam, so they are not torts. Finally, we have used the term injury and damages several times. What does they really mean? Injury means legal injury and damages means compensation. These terms will become very familiar for you guys when you finish learning law of tort. But for now, I will take break. I will see you guys with one another video on law of tort, and for now I will hand over this presentation to Nishan.
A pigeon is asking, what are other words for bad act? And look at the answer. The other pigeon is saying wrong, misdeed, bad deed, bad action, offense, injury, crime, unlawful act, illegal act, violation. Whoa, so many words. With that, I'm concluding this session. Please subscribe our channel. Please like, share and comment our videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.